Welcome back to Gale Bears Repairs. Today I'm going to change the fuel filter on this 2012 Skoda Yeti as part of a service series. Right, let's get on with it. The next job I'm going to do on this service of this 2012 Skoda Yeti with the 2-litre TDI engine fitted is the fuel filter. Now this is the fuel filter assembly here. There's the can that the filter sits in and it lives in there. You've got to undo those Torx bits. Now the first job we've got to do with this before touching any of the fuel system is this has got to be cleaned first. We need all this clean because we don't want any of the debris when we lift this off, any of the debris going into that can, because there's very small tolerances on the fuel injectors if you get any debris in there. Right, we'll start off doing that, just give it a little clean up. So I've just given a mush around with a paintbrush and a bit of brake cleaner in there. I've just agitated it with a paintbrush, cleaned all these pipes down, and then we'll get rid of all this dirt. Right, so it's all evaporated now, all the dust is gone. There's nothing left there, so I'm confident now to remove that. It's a It's a T20 Torx bit. I had trouble spitting that out. So it's a T20 Torx, and just go around and undo these. They should only be lightly nipped. They shouldn't be creamed up, these. So they're just a T20 Torx with a machine thread on there, machine screw. Right, so with all those removed, and now we can expose the filter in there. So we just get the can off. I have to get a screwdriver by the look of it. So it looks like I've got a prize in there because he's sat in on an O-ring. So we just got to remove the seat of the O-ring. So we just get him in there and just work him. There he goes. So now we can lift the housing off. The filter may come out with it or it may not. Yeah, the filter's coming with it. So I'm going to push the filter off of the housing. There we go. So I want to be able to just bend this up out of the way. So I'll probably get a cable tie and cable tie that back to there somewhere out of the way so that we can get to the filter. So I've just got 2 cable ties because it's not long enough. So I'll go there and I'll hook through this one. And we'll just prise this out of the way. It just makes our life easier. There we go. So that's nice now. Now we can get to the filter and we can get this O-ring off here. So we've got this lid open now. There is some slight particles in there on that filter. There is some slight metallic particles. So I'll need to note that. That's something that's worth looking into. Little bits of glitter, little bits of brass. First thing I'm going to do, just get a bit of cardboard, put it over there. I'm going to do the dirty piece here, so if it falls on there, I'm going to clean that out afterwards. So the first thing we're going to do is get the O-ring off. There's an O-ring there. We'll just hook him out. There he is. And then we're just going to give it a good wipe around here. And this is why I'm doing this first. I'm doing this first so that any debris falls down onto the dirty housing before we've cleaned the bottom piece. So we give it a little clear out where the O-ring sits. And then we'll get the new seal. So this is the filter I'm fit into this 2012 2-litre TDI. So there's the new filter on the O-rings on it, look. So we get the new O-ring and we'll just pop him on. We'll roll him in there. He just goes in that groove and we make sure he's seated nice. Yeah, so he's not rolled, he spins nicely on there. Right, so now that that's done, I can now concentrate on this bit. Any dirt that I've got off there is not falling down into a cleaned bowl here, so I'll clean this now. So you just hook out the filter. I've got my jug from the oil change I've done previously. So we just get the filter and hook him out. And he has got little sparkly bits on there. So I don't know if there's a problem developing with the fuel pump on this car. So we just pull him out. We'll let him drain for a bit. Yeah, there is very slight sparkly stuff around there. This is a genuine filter. It's got the Audi rings on it. Right, so we'll just put him over there. Just had a look in there to make sure it wasn't full of swarf, that we've got like massive pump problems. Next thing I'm going to use, I've got this big syringe. I'm going to extract the fuel that's in there. So you can use a turkey baster or anything. So you just suck this, drain the fuel. So it's a bit messy and a bit smelly, this part of this job. Some people don't do this, they just put the new filter in, but I like to clean it out. Right, so that's the fuel removed. So there's not a lot of swarf in there. I don't know the history on this car. It may have had a previous pump fail, and that's just remnants from that job. I don't know. So this is just something to monitor. Something to monitor for the future. This is my son's girlfriend's car, so I'll inform her. I will inform her that we need to keep an eye on this. We'll check it next year on the service. Right, so we just clean around. Give it a wipe out. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about, I don't think. So there we go. It's nice and clean. I can't see any particulates in there. I'll take you off the mount and show you what to expect. So that all it is, look, is a bowl. It's just a container for the filter to sit in. And it's this pipe here that goes down through the center of the filter. There's the O-ring that we've replaced. I'll put a bit of fuel on that one, just so it doesn't pick up on its way into the can. So that O-ring there is the only seal, and it just goes around the inside of this can here. Right, I've got some new fuel. We're going to prime up the bowl with it. I'll start off with ½ litre. I can't emphasize how much that this jug has got to be clean, and the fuel that you're putting in there has got to be clean. I can't emphasize that enough. This is a very critical point of this job. So that was another 400 mil. So we're on 900 mil. Nearly a litre of fuel has gone into this housing. At this point, if you see any bits in there, I can't see anything. Nothing floating around in there. If you see any bits in there, just stop. Don't carry on. Drain that out again. Give it a wipe. So the next thing, get the filter. He just presses on there. He's got a rubber seal there, and all he does is presses onto here. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can put him in and let him absorb the fuel and then press that down. Or we could put him on there now, but I don't think he'll bend around. So I'm just going to put him in and just let him absorb the fuel. He'll find his own way down, look, as he drinks the fuel. There he goes. That was satisfying. So now we can snip the cable ties off there, and we can place that into the filter. There we go. And then all I'm going to do is hook up that filter. Don't know if you can see this very well. So I'm just hooking him up and I'm just plonking him in the center of the filter. Right, so now, I've spilled fuel everywhere. So now that filter is connected to the center of there. So push him down. So I've got slightly too much fuel in there. So that was 800 mil. You're probably better off putting 700 mil in there. So now we've just got to seat that O-ring. Squidge him around. There he goes. I felt him drop on this side. So now we've got to feel him drop on this side. There it is. So he's all the way around. And that seems to be seated quite nicely there. Yeah, that feels nice. So now we just catch the screws. And we're just going in loose. So we don't want to tighten any of these yet. We want them loose because then it gives us the flexibility to just rotate this to catch the threads. I couldn't get my fat fingers in on that one. So we're just going to go around finger tight. So we're just going to now give them a light nip up. And that's it. That's tight enough. So they've had a firm nip. I've now got to clean up this area. It's going to stink. It'll go through the fan and it'll smell in the cabin. So just going to give this a spray down and a wipe down with some brake cleaner. And then I'll show you how to prime it up before we start the car. Right, so I'm just going to go inside. We're going to prime the filter and then we're going to start him up. So then we can see if there's any leaks around this flange here. Right, so now that we've replaced the filter and we've got the lid screwed down, we've got to prime the system. So we've filled it up quite nicely in that can, but we just want to get the fuel lift pump, the fuel pump in the tank, to push the fuel up, to fill that bowl even more, to prime it. So we just put the ignition on. Just leave it for 5 seconds or so. Turn it off. Put it on. So I do this half a dozen times. Do this 6 times. Right, so should we go for a start, shall we? Let's see what happens. There we go, he's fired up nicely. Look at the rev counter. So we're just going to see whether we get any fluctuation in the revs, if we get any air bubbles coming through. So it looks very steady. Yeah, it looks fine. So we'll give him a little rev. Very nice indeed. So I'm going to let it run for 5 minutes just to make sure it's purged, make sure it's bled correctly, and I'm going to go outside and check for leaks around the fuel filter housing. That's the fuel filter renewed on this 2-litre TDI Skoda Yeti. If you see the bits of glitter in that fuel filter like I've seen there, you need to get advice. You've got potential fuel pump failure just around the corner. So they are alarm bells. You need to be looking at it when you see that glitter. This was part 2 of a service series on this Skoda Yeti. I'll try to get part 3 to appear here if I can, and that will be how to replace the air filter on the same car. So if you found it useful and it's been informative to you today, could you please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time.